Hey, welcome once more to Mr. Max. In this lesson, we are going to revise from September 2021 Limpopo province graphs and functions. Okay, September 2021 Limpopo province graph and functions question. That is question number 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so listen very carefully. Make sure that the question paper is right in front of you, and then watch the lesson. Okay, let's start. Question number 4. Given f of x is equal to 2 divided by, so there is a function given like this, f of x is equal to 2 divided by x minus 4 plus 2. I mean, sorry, not plus 2, it's minus 2. X minus 4 minus 2. So before you start answering this one, what type of function is this? 2 divided by x minus 4. Here you can see that the variable is in the denominator. So what type of function? It's a hyperbolic function. Am I right? It's a hyperbolic function like this. Okay. So now what is the first question? That's all what is given. Okay. And based on that one, we have to answer the remaining questions. Okay. What is the first question? 4.1. Write down the equation of the horizontal asymptote of f of x. Excuse me. Write down the equation of the horizontal and vertical asymptotes of f of x. So what is the general equation? F of x is equal to a divided by x plus p plus q. This is the general equation of a hyperbolic function. In this expression or in this equation, how can you find the asymptote? What are the equations of the asymptote? When here it is plus p, you will write the equation as minus b, x is equal to minus b. So don't misunderstand that. Here not always negative, it depends on what is the sign here. If here it is plus, equation of the asymptote you have to write x is equal to minus b. If here it is minus, here you have to write a plus. Okay, so look at this one, x minus 4. So what we are supposed to write? X is equal to, when here it is minus, here you have to write positive 4. Okay, but no change in this sign. There it is minus 2. So when we write the equation, y is equal to same sign, don't change there. Okay, so what are the equation of the asymptotes? X is equal to 4 and y is equal to minus 2. What is actually this asymptote? That dotted line, you remember? Okay, so this vertical dotted line and horizontal dotted line. Okay, so that is question number 4.1. Now let's move to the next question, 4.2. What is that question? Calculate the x-intercept, the intercept of f. You have to find the x-intercept of this equation, this hyperbola, x-intercept coordinate. Okay, so you know that this f of x is the same as y. So y is equal to 2 over x minus 4 minus 2. That is the equation. I wrote this f of x is a function, so we can write it as y. Okay, y is equal to 2 divided by x minus 4 minus 2. Okay, now here we have to find the x-intercept. So at x-intercept, what is the value of y? At x-intercept, the value of y is equal to 0. Am I right? At x-intercept, the value of y is 0. Okay, so in that equation we have to substitute the value of y as 0. So let's try to substitute the value of y as 0. Y is 0, so 0 is equal to 2 divided by x minus 4 minus 2. I substitute the value of y as 0. Okay, so now take this minus 2 to this side. So it is this minus 2, on the other side it is positive 2. So 2 is equal to 2 divided by x minus 4. Now what you have to do? You have to cross multiply. Am I right? Okay, you have to take this x minus 4 and multiply with this 2. Okay, so that one is 2 into x minus 4 is equal to this 2. Okay, now how can you find x minus 4 from here? How can I find x minus 4 from here? So x minus 4, what I'm going to do is divide both sides with the 2. Divide both sides with the 2 like this. Okay, so these 2 and 2 cancel. So 2 by 2 is 1. Okay, so what is that one? X minus 4 is equal to 1. So from there, what is x? We have to take this minus 4 to the other side. So it is 1 plus 4. 1 plus 4 is 5. So it means that the value of x is 5. You understand? Okay. So what is the value of y? X-intercept y is 0. So therefore coordinate, y coordinate, okay, coordinate is equal to x value is 5 and y value, x-intercept y is 0. So it is 5 comma 0. Okay, so that is question number 4.2. So what is the x-intercept? Let me write it here. What is the x-intercept? What are the asymptotes? X is equal to, asymptote is 4 and y is equal to minus 2. This is the asymptote. Okay, and what is the x-intercept? X-intercept, it is 5 comma 0. Okay, now let's move to the next question, question number 4.3. okay, question number 4.3, what is that question? Read that question. Question number 4.3. Question is, sketch the graph of f, clearly show all the intercepts with the axis and the asymptotes. You have to sketch this graph. Am I right? You have to sketch the graph. So to sketch the graph, we know the asymptotes. We already find the asymptotes and x-intercept. Am I right? Okay. So what is outstanding there? We have to find the y-intercept. Am I right? Okay. So let's try to find the y-intercept. At even though that question is not there, but to sketch the graph, we want to know what is the y-intercept. So at y-intercept, the value of x is equal to 0. So in now, to find the y-intercept, you have to substitute the value of x as 0. So what is that one? F of x is the same as y. Y is equal to 2 divided by x minus 4 minus 2. So in this equation, here we have to substitute the value of x as 0. So what is that one? Y is equal to 2 divided by 0 minus 4 minus 2. I substitute the value of x as 0. Okay. So y is equal to 2 divided by minus 4. What is the answer? 2 divided by 0 minus 4 is minus 4. Okay. So 2 by minus 4 is, when you cancel with the 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, so it is minus 1 over 2. So this one is minus 1 over 2 minus 2. So you can check in your calculator what is the answer for that one. That is, what is this one? In decimal form you can write, no problem, because we are going to mark that on the graph. Okay, so y is equal to minus 4 minus 5 divided by 2. So it is minus 2.5. Okay, you can check in your calculator. Okay, so what I did is 2 into 2 is 4. So minus 4 minus 1 minus 4 is minus 5. Minus 5 divided by 2, that is minus 2.5. So don't worry about that. You can use your calculator if you don't know how to find mentally. Okay, so now what is a x-intercept? Therefore what is a coordinate? Coordinate, what is a coordinate? X value is 0 and y value is minus 2.5. So let me write here y-intercept. What is a y-intercept? X value 0 and y value minus 2.5. Now 4.3 we can start. What is question number 4.3? We have to draw the graph. Am I right? Okay, so you have to draw the graph. So those who didn't write this one, you have to pause the video and write that one. Okay, so how can you draw the graph, guys? Here you have to draw the x-axis and y-axis. Okay, now first you are supposed to draw the asymptotes. Okay, x is equal to 4. So let's say 1 2 3 4. Okay, this is x is equal to 4. So this one is, you have to mark it as 4. Okay, and the second asymptote, horizontal asymptote is y is equal to minus 2, minus 1 minus 2. This is y is equal to minus 2 asymptote. You have to write it here as minus 2. Okay, now what are the x-intercept and y-intercepts? X-intercept is 5 comma 0. 5 comma 0 is somewhere let me erase this line. 5 comma 0, so this is 4, this is the x-axis, am I right? This one is the x-axis, so 5 means somewhere here, 5 comma 0. Okay, so this is 5 comma 0. Okay, now what is the y-intercept? 0 comma minus 2.5. Okay, y-intercept, this is the y-axis, am I right? Okay, minus 2.5 means if here it is minus 3, minus 2.5 is very close to this one. Okay, on the middle, so this is minus 2.5. so what is that point? 0 comma minus 2.5. so you are supposed to draw the graph based on the asymptotes. So like this, it must not touch the asymptote, then it must pass through that point minus 2.5, then it will go like this, and here also it must not touch the asymptote, so it is going downwards and to this side. Okay, and similarly here also you are supposed to draw based on the asymptote, must not touch the asymptote, then it will go like that. Okay, so this is the graph of f of x. That is question number 4.3. Okay, now let's move to question number 4.4. What is question number 4.4? What is question number 4.4? Question number 4.4, what is that one? The line y is equal to minus x plus c is the axis of symmetry of f. Determine the value of c. So what is that question? Y is equal to minus x plus c is the axis of symmetry of this graph. Okay, so this is a hyperbolic graph, am I right? Okay, for a hyperbolic graph, how many axes of symmetries? There are two axes of symmetries. Okay, so which axis of what are the axes of symmetries? The axis of both the axes of symmetries is passing through the intersecting point of these asymptotes. Can you see, this is the horizontal asymptote and vertical asymptote. Okay, so there are two axes of symmetry for a hyperbolic graph. One is like this one is one axis of symmetry. So here you can see that one is a axis of symmetry is a straight line. Okay, so it's an increasing straight line, am I right? It is increasing. Okay, so that one, the equation is y is equal to positive x plus c. That is the equation of that one. Okay, and we have to find what is the value of c. Okay, why it is positive? The gradient is positive because it is increasing. Okay, and the next one is this axis of symmetry, and that is y is equal to minus x plus c. Why it is minus? Because it is this straight line is decreasing. So for a hyperbolic function, there are two axes of symmetry. One is axis of symmetry positive gradient, and the other one is axis of symmetry having negative gradient. Okay, and you have to note one thing: both the axes of symmetry are passing through the intersecting point of the asymptotes, passing through this point. Okay, so here can you say what is this point? What is this point? What is the coordinate of that point? Yeah, here you know that here the y value is minus 2, y value is minus 2, and what is the x value of that asymptote? X value is 4. So what is the coordinate? 4 comma minus 2. At this point the coordinate is 4 comma minus 2. This is 4 comma minus 2. So what is the coordinate of the point of intersection of the asymptotes, the dotted lines? 4 comma minus 2, because here the x value, this vertical asymptote x value is 4 and horizontal asymptote x value is minus 2. You understand? Okay, so here we have to find the equation of this axis of symmetry having a negative gradient. Okay, so here we know this is the axis of symmetry having negative gradient, y is equal to minus x plus c, and we know one coordinate of that point. What is the coordinate of this point? This point is a point on this line. Okay, and what is that point? 4 comma minus 2. So what we can do with that point? Yeah, we can substitute there in that equation. Am I right? Y is equal to, what is y at this point? What is y? Minus 2 is equal to minus x. What is x? That is 4 plus c. This minus is this one, and what is x? 4. X value is 4 at this point. Okay. So take this minus 4 to this side. So minus 2 plus 4 is equal to c. Minus 2 plus 4 is 2 is equal to c, or c value is 2. So what is the equation of the isosymmetry having negative gradient? Y is equal to minus x plus 2, and this is the answer. What is that question? Look at question number 4.4 once more. The line y is equal to minus x plus c is the isosymmetry of f. Determine the value of c. Oh, okay, you just want to find the value of c. So what is the value of c? It implies that the value of c is equal to 2. This is the answer, or this one is the equation of the isosymmetry having negative gradient. Okay. So that is question number 4.4. Now let's move to question number 5. Okay, let's move to the next question. Question number 5. The sketch graph of f of x is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. So there is an equation given like this. F of x is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. So from that equation itself, you know that it is a quadratic equation. Am I right? Quadratic graph or quadratic equation. Okay, that is f of x, and the g of x is equal to, there is another equation, g of x, and what is that one? Mx plus c. So there are two equations given, f of x and g of x. Okay, now there is a diagram given there. First of all, let me draw that diagram. Okay, then based on that one I will explain the remaining things. So there is a diagram given like this: x and y axis, okay. I try to draw a rough graph here, and here are drawn below. V is the turning point of f. So there is a point here, and they are saying that that point V is the turning point of that f of x graph. So this is our f of x graph, the parabola. Okay, then t and w and at y the x intercepts. So t and w are the x intercepts. So that's why here you can see that here the y value is 0, and here also the y value is 0. So t and w are x intercepts, and the y axis at s. So here y axis, y intercept is that point s, but that coordinate is not given. Okay, now t minus 1 comma 0 and r 3 comma minus 8, the two graphs intersect. So here you can see that this is our straight line graph g of x, and this straight line graph and this graph intersect at the points t and r. Okay, at the point t and r both the graphs intersect. Okay, now based on this one we have to answer the remaining questions. What is the first question? 5.1. Determine the equation of g in the form of g of x. You have to find the equation of g. G means this straight line. Am I right? So you have to find the equation of g of x, that straight line graph. Okay. So what is the general equation given? G of x is equal to mx plus c. So the general equation given is g of x is equal to mx plus c. And here what is m? M stands for the gradient. So here how can you find the gradient? Yeah, we know 2 points on that straight line. Am I right? One point is t minus 1 0, and the other one is r 3 comma minus 8. So what are the 2 points? T minus 1 comma 0 and r 3 comma minus 8. Both of these points are on the points of that straight line. Okay, so we can take that 2 points to find the gradient. Okay, so here what is the gradient formula? M is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, so here you have to call this this is our x1 y1, and this one is x2 y2. Okay, so what is the formula? Y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, y2 minus y1, so it is minus 8 minus y1 is 0 divided by x2 minus x1. x2 is 3 minus x1 is minus 1. So there you must be careful. Okay, x2 minus 3 minus, okay, then again minus 1. What is that one? x1 is minus 1. So here what is answer? Minus 8 minus 0 is minus 8 divided by 3 minus minus 1. What is minus times minus? Plus. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So what is the answer, guys? Minus 8 divided by minus 4 is minus 2. So it means that the gradient of the graph, that straight line g of x, is minus 2. Okay. So just now let's write the formula. What is the formula for equation of a straight line? You studied the two formulas. Y is equal to, either you can use y is equal to mx plus c. This is one equation. Can you see that? Mx plus c. Okay, we can use that formula, no problem. Y is equal to mx plus c. What is the second formula, other formula? You last year you studied another formula, y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. I prefer this formula. Okay, anyway, doesn't matter which, for either this one or this one you can use. Okay, you will get the same answer. So what is m? Minus 2. So y is equal to minus 2x plus c. Okay, now what I'm going to, what you want to find? You have to find the value of c. Am I right? Okay, so you just substitute any point that you know. Okay, so here it is easy to substitute this point. This point is a point on this straight line. Okay, so what is the x value? Minus 1. What is the y value? 0. So I'm going to substitute that point on this equation. Okay, so only one thing, you must have to substitute the points. You can't substitute this point. Why? Because that point is not on the point on this straight line. Am I right? Okay, so you can substitute either this point or this point, because both the points are on the straight line. Okay, so I'm going to substitute this one. So y is equal to, what is y here? 0. So 0 is equal to minus 2 into, this is the formula, yeah? Minus 2 into, what is x? X is minus 1. I substitute the value of x as minus 1 plus c. We don't know what is the value of c. That is what we are going to find. So what is minus 1? Minus 2 times minus 1. 0 is equal to minus 2 times minus 1. Minus times minus is positive. 2 times 1 is 2 plus c. If I take these 2 to this side, it is minus 2. So is equal to c, or c is equal to minus 2. So therefore what is the equation now? We got the equation like this, y is equal to minus 2x plus c, and now we know that c is minus 2. So y is equal to minus 2x plus c. What is c? Here we got the value of c as minus 2. So minus 2. So what is the equation of g of x? Y is equal to minus 2x minus 2. Okay, so that is the question. Okay, so we got g of x, equation of g of x as minus 2x minus 2. Okay, so just write it there. Okay, if you want, we can use that one later. Okay, so that is question number 5.1. Now let's move to next question, 5.2. Okay, what is, okay, let's move to the next question, question number 5.2. What is question number 5.2? Determine the values of a, b and c. Where are these a, b and c? A, b and c. You have to find, or in another words, you have to find the equation of that parabola. That's the question. Okay, so determine the values of these a, b and c. Okay, so what type of graph is that? What type of graph is that? It's a quadratic graph. Am I right? Okay, so last year you studied 3 formulas for a quadratic graph. What are the formulas? Y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. This is one formula that is given there. Okay, and the second formula is, do you remember, using the completing the square method? Okay, so using the completing the square method, a into x minus p the whole square plus q. Do Do you remember this formula? Okay, so that is another formula. And what is the third formula that you studied? Y is equal to, there is another formula like this, a into x minus m into x minus n. Okay, that is the third formula, a into x minus m into x minus n. Here what are the values of this m and n? How can you find the values of m and n? This m and n in this formula stands for the x-intercept points of that graph. Here the x-intercept is -1 and here the x-intercept is 5. So here the values of m are -1 and 5. Okay, so we can substitute, we are going to use this formula to find the values of a, b and c. Okay, so what is the formula? Y is equal to a into x minus m into x minus n. We are going to use that formula. Okay, so substitute the values. M and n stands for the x-intercepts. So substitute the values. Y is equal to a into x minus, what is m? -1, x-intercept, -1 into x minus n. What is n? N is 5. So x minus 5. Okay, now what you have to do is to find the value of this a. Okay, we have to substitute any other point on that graph. Do you know any other point on the graph? These 2 points we already took, x-intercept. Okay, and here you can see that this point r is also on that graph, parabola. Am I right? Okay, so I'm going to substitute this point 3 comma -8 here on this equation. So what is y? Y is -8. So I'm going to substitute 3 comma -8. I'm going to substitute that formula, point there. So what is y? -8. Y is -8 is equal to a into x. X value is 3. So it is 3 minus is plus 1 into x. X again it is 3 minus 5. So what I did, I substitute the value of x as 3 and this is the value of x, 3, and this one is y. I substituted in this equation. Okay, so now from there we can find the value of a. So -8 is equal to a into 3 plus 1 is 4 into 3 minus 5 is -2. Am I right? Okay, so -8 is equal to 4 times -2, that is -8, then this a. Okay, so how can I find a? Divide both sides with the -8 divided by -8. So this -8 and this -8 you can cancel. So remaining here it is a. -8 divided by -8 is 1. So what is the value of a? It is 1. Okay, so now we know the value of a. Now substitute back into that equation. Okay, so substitute back into this equation. Okay, so what is that equation? Y is equal to, let me write this equation once more, this one. Okay, y is equal to a into x plus 1 into minus is plus 1. Okay, x minus 5. This is our equation. Now we know what is the value of a. What is the value of a? A is equal to 1. So I'm going to substitute here. Okay, so y is equal to a. Value of a is 1 into x plus 1 into x minus 5. Okay, now we want the answer like this. Then only we can say that value of a is this, value of b is this, value of c is like that. To get the answer like that, what you have to do? You have to expand the bracket. Okay, so now we can expand the bracket. Y is equal to this one. It won't make any difference because that is outside, and 1 times anything is same thing. Okay, so we can avoid this one. X times x is x square. X times -5 is minus 5x. 1 times x is x. 1 times -5 is -5. I hope you know how to expand. Okay, FOIL method. So what is that one? Y is equal to x square -5 plus 1. Like terms you can add. So -5 plus 1 is what? Check in your calculator, those who doesn't know. -5 plus 1 minus 4x. Then the constant term -5. So can you tell me what is the value of a now? What is the value of a? Value of a is 1. What is the value of b? This is value of a. Okay, 1. What is the value of b? Minus 4. What is the value of c? Minus 5. So we have to write therefore a is equal to x square. X square means coefficient is 1. So the value of a is 1 and b coefficient of x, that is minus 4. So minus 4, and what is the value of c? Constant term, that is minus 5. So it means that the value of a, b and c are 1, minus 4 and minus 5. Okay. So that is question number 5.2. Now let's move to the next question, 5.3. Okay, let's move to the next question, 5.3. What is that question? If f of x is equal to x square minus 4x minus 5. So in this question, they already give, x square, f of x is x square minus 4x minus 5, minus 5. So do you remember we got the value of a as 1, b as minus 4 and c as minus 5. Okay, so here in this question they directly given that. Okay, now anyway, what we want to find in this question, 5.3.1. First question, 5.3.1. What is that question? The turning point V, you have to find what is the coordinate of the turning point. So how can you find the turning point? You studied a formula like this, that's easy. If you can remember that formula, to find the x value of the turning point, there is a formula. That formula you have to remember, x is equal to minus b divided by 2 into a. If you can remember this formula, then you can easily find the turning points. Okay, so what is the formula? Minus b divided by 2a. Remember that formula. Okay, so here what is the value of a? It is 1. What is b? So a is 1. What is b? Minus 4. What is c? Minus 5. So we can substitute the values. Therefore x is equal to minus, that minus is this one. What is b? Minus 4. So again minus 4 divided by 2 times a. What is the value of a? It is 1. So here this one is minus times minus is positive, divided by 2 times 1 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So it means that the x value is minus, 2, positive 2. So it implies that x is equal to 2. So to find the y value, what you have to do? We have to substitute this x value in the original equation. Okay, so to find the y value, we have to substitute this x value in this equation. Okay, this f of x is the same as function, is the same as y. Okay, let me write that equation once more. X square minus 4x minus 5. Now we can substitute the x value here. Okay, y is equal to x square. What is x? 2. So it is 2 square minus 4 into x. What is the value of x? 2. 4 into 2 minus 5. Okay, so 2 square is 4. 4 into 2 is minus 8. Okay, then minus 5. So check in your calculator, what is answer? Minus 4 minus 9. Okay, so what is the value of y? It is minus 9. So what is the coordinate of v? Therefore the coordinate of v is, x value is 2 and the y value is minus 9. So what is here? My x value is 2 and the y value is minus 9. So this is one method. There are different methods. And another method is you have to convert this into a completing the square method. Okay, like this form, x minus something all squared minus something like that. Okay, so here if you try to convert this one into this format, it will come like this. Then from this equation, the turning point is 2 comma 9. Do you remember? 2 comma minus 9. Do you remember that one? Okay, so you can convert this equation into this format using completing the square method. Okay, x minus 2 the whole square minus 9. Then from this equation, what is the turning point? If here it is minus 2, you have to write positive 2 and this one as it is. So 2 comma minus 9. Like that also you can find the turning point. Okay. What is another method? Another method is look at this one. This turning point is the midpoint of these 2 points. What is minus 1? What is the x value here? Minus 1. What is the x value here? 5. So minus 1 plus 5. This minus 1 plus 5 divided by 2. Okay. So now minus 1 plus 5 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And that is going to be the x value of the turning point, because this point, this x value of the turning point is the middle point of or midpoint of these 2 points. So how can you find the midpoint of this one? Minus 1 plus 5 divided by 2. So there also you will get the answer as 2. Then you have to substitute these 2 into this equation. Okay. So this equation, then you will get minus 9. Okay. So any method you can apply, depends on you. Okay. So which one is easy, that one you can apply. Okay. So anyway, that is 5.3.1. Now let's move to the next question. So what is the coordinate? 2 comma minus 9. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. 5.3.2. What is that question? 5.3.2. 5.3.2. What is that one? The range of f. You have to find the range of f graph. F graph means that parabola. Okay. So let me draw it once more here. This is our graph, and we got the turning point as 2 comma minus 9. Okay. And this is the y-axis. This is the y-axis, and this one is the x-axis. Okay. So, and this is our f of x. Now, what is the meaning of a range? Range means possible y values. Okay. Range means possible y values. So here possible y values of what? Of the graph. Okay. So if I take what at this point, what is a y value? At this point it is minus 9. Am I right? Okay. So assume that if I take the point minus 10, can I get any y value on the graph? There is no graph there. Am I right? If I take a y value here 9.5, can I get any point on the graph? No. Okay. But if I take a minus 9, I can see 1 point on. Okay. So the first y value I got is from minus 9. Okay. But if I take this is, assume that this is minus 8. So if I take minus 8, I can see there are 2 y values. Okay. Similarly here positive 1. I can see there are 2 y values if I take 1. Okay. So it means that if I take any y value from minus 9 upwards, greater than minus 9, okay, then I can find the points on the graph. Am I right? Okay. But if I take any y value less than minus 9, I can't find any point on the graph. Okay. So what are the possible y values? Y value must be either minus 9 or greater than minus 9. Okay, then only you will get the points on the graph. So the answer is y is greater than or equal to minus 9. That's all. Okay. What is the question? Range, possible y values. So possible y values are from minus 9 to upwards, minus 8, minus 7, like that. Okay. There is no limit because the graph is going like this. Okay. But you can't take anything below minus 9. There is no graph there below minus 9. Okay. So the y value must be greater than or equal to minus 9. Okay. That is 5.3.2. Now let's move to 5.4. Okay. Next question. Question number 5.4. What is that question? Question number 5.4. If k of x is equal to f of x minus 4 plus 5. So there is a new equation given, that is k of x. We don't know anything about k of x here. Right? We know only f of x and g of x. So now they are saying that k of x is equal to f of x minus 4 then plus 5. So k of x is given as f of x minus 4 plus 5. Write down the equation of k of x in the form of a into x plus b the whole square plus q. In that format you have to write the equation of k of x. Okay. So now look at look at our given equation. Okay, so anyway we have to write the equation of k of x in that format. Okay, what is the format? K of x in which format? K of x is equal to a into x plus b the whole square plus q. In this format you want the answer. Okay, and what is our k of x? K of x is given as f of x minus 4 plus 5. Okay, so first what I am going to do is this f of x equation. Okay, what is the equation of f of x? Previous question we got f of x is equal to x square minus 4x. What was the equation? X square minus 4x minus 5. Minus 5. Okay, first I am going to write this equation in this format. Okay, then I will explain what to do to find k of x. Okay, so f of x is equal to, how can you write this equation in this format? Using the completing the square method. You remember that one? Last year you studied completing the square method. How can you find x square minus 4x? You stop there, then you have to check what is the coefficient of x. What is the coefficient of x? 4. Okay, so just leave this, ignore the minus. Okay, you just want the number. Okay, coefficient of x is 4. Then find the half of that coefficient. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, then square that number. Again 2 square is 4. Okay, so listen once more. Coefficient of x is 4. Half the coefficient, 4 divided by 2, that is 2. Square that number, 2. Okay, so 2 square is 4. So now what you have to do is this 4 you have to plus and minus. Okay, then there is a minus 5 there. Don't forget that one. Don't forget that minus 5. Okay, so here now what you have to do, take the first 3 terms. What are the first 3 terms? This one. What is that one? Yeah, those who studied algebra, you know that that one, how can you write? Here it is minus, so it is x minus 2 the whole square. These first 3 terms, it is x minus 2 the whole square. Then minus 4 minus 5 is minus 9. Those who doesn't know this one, how to write it like this, okay, you have to watch that algebra section. Okay, there I explain clearly how to write this one. Okay, so for example another one, if I write another example, x square minus 12x plus 36. Okay, how can you write this one? Here this one is x, when here it is minus, here you have to put minus. 36 is what? 6 square. Okay, so x minus 6 the whole square. Now you have to check this one is also must be correct. 2 times x times 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Minus 12 into x minus 12x. 6 square is 36. So it's fine. Okay, so anyway, those who doesn't know this one clearly, you have to watch algebra section. Okay, so now we wrote the given equation. Our equation was this one, f of x is equal to x square minus 4x minus 5. Okay, and we converted that into this format, x minus 2 the whole square minus 9. Okay, now what I am going to do is I am going to write equation of k of x. And what is that k of x? Here they are saying that in that f of x graph, x you have to change. Normally here we are supposed to write x, right, f of x. Normally we are supposed to write like that. Okay, and they converted that x into x minus 4. Instead of x, they write x minus 4. Okay, so wherever you see x, you have to write it as x minus 4. Can you see x here? So I am going to write that x as x minus 4. This x I wrote it as x minus 4. Then this minus 2. The whole square minus 9. Then not finish. Can you see that? Plus 5. Okay, so that is k of x. So it is plus 5. So listen once more. Normally we are supposed to write f of x, but they change this x to x minus 4. So here in this f of x graph, we have to change this x to x minus 4. Minus 2, this one minus 2 the whole square, this square minus 9. Then they did one more thing, plus 5. So we have to do that one also here to get to k of x, plus 5. Okay, now let's see what is the answer for that one. K of x is equal to x minus 4 minus 2 is minus 6 the whole square minus 9 plus 5, that is check in your calculator those who doesn't know. Okay, minus 4 minus 9 plus 5 is minus 4. Is it not like what they want in that format, x plus b the whole square plus q? Okay, so this is the answer, x minus 6 the whole square. K of x is equal to x minus 6 the whole square plus minus 4. Okay, so that is question number 5.4. now let's move to question number 5.5. okay, okay, now let's move to the next question, question number 5.5. question number 5.5, what is that question? Question number 5.5, for which values of x you have to find the values of x. Okay, for which values of x, so what you want to find? You have to find the values of x, and what is the condition? F dash of x into g of x must be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so you have to find the values of x where f dash of x into g of x is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so to do this question, make sure that you studied calculus. Okay, so this f dash of x or f prime of x, okay, that is a calculus section. Okay, so you have to study that calculus section. Then this is a final exam question, am I right? September question. Okay, so this is the integration or a combination of calculus topic and graphs and function. Okay, so you have to know that one, otherwise you can't understand this. Okay, so anyway, listen here, those who studied calculus section, listen here. You know, in calculus you studied cubic graph, am I right? Okay, so this cubic graph here you can see that the graph is increased. This is our f of x graph, cubic f of x. I'm not talking about this one, this equation. Okay, our question, I'm just going to explain something from calculus. Okay, so assume that this is our cubic graph f of x. So here you can see that this graph is increasing up to this turning point. Okay, so when the original graph is increasing, you studied in calculus that the first derivative, that is f dash of x, is positive, that means greater than 0. So here, from here to up to this point, the graph is increasing, so the first derivative is greater than 0. From this point to, can you see that the graph is decreasing? Okay, and up to here, so there the first derivative is, when the graph is decreasing, the first derivative is negative, that means f dash of x is less than 0. Negative, f dash less than 0 means negative. Again you can see that from this turning point the graph is increasing, that means the first derivative again it is greater than 0. The first derivative is greater than 0. Okay, this is f of x, f dash of x. Okay, f dash of x is greater than 0. Okay, so try to understand like this. When a graph increases, the first derivative is positive, greater than 0. When the graph decreases, the first derivative is less than 0. Okay, first derivative means f dash of x. Okay, so when the graph increases, it's positive, first derivative. When the graph decreases, first derivative is negative. Okay, so now come back to this question. So here look at f of x. Here f dash of x. Okay, what is our f of x? This parabola. This is our f of x, am I right? The parabola. Okay, so here can you see that here the graph is decreasing, am I right, up to this turning point. So here what is f dash of x? When the graph is decreasing, the first derivative is, what I told, when the graph is decreasing, the first derivative is negative. So all these areas, the first derivative is negative. Why? Because here the graph is decreasing. You understand? Okay, then after that point, after the turning point, what happened to the graph? It is increasing. So when the graph is increasing, what is the first derivative? Positive. You remember I told you, when the graph is increasing, the first derivative is positive. So in these places, what about the first derivative? I'm talking about the first derivative. Okay, so not if you just consider f of x, okay, maybe some of you, those who studied this one, we are confusing that it is below x-axis, so is it not negative? We are not talking about this f of x graph, we are talking about f dash of x, first derivative. Okay, first derivative is positive when the original graph is increasing. That is why here also it is positive. Do you understand? Okay, so positive, 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 positive. Okay, because the graph is increasing, so the first derivative is positive. Okay, when the graph is decreasing, the first derivative is negative. When the graph is increasing, the first derivative is positive. Okay, now what about the second term, g of x? There they are not talking about the derivative, there they are talking about the same graph. Okay, same graph, this straight line graph. Okay, so the case of a straight line graph, like this. Okay, so here you can see that below, this is the x-axis. Okay, below x-axis it is negative, am I right? Below x-axis it is negative and above x-axis it is positive, am I right? Okay, so here this is our g of x graph. Below x-axis, this is the x-axis, this one is the x-axis, am I right? Okay, so below x-axis it is negative, that means here it is negative. Don't forget that here we are not talking about g dash of x, we are talking about the same graph g of x. Okay, so below x-axis negative, from here to this side it is positive, above x-axis, that means here it is positive. Okay, above x-axis positive, below x-axis negative. Okay, fine. Now what is our question? Come back to our question. We have to find the values of x where f dash of x times g of x is positive. So when two functions multiplied and the answer is positive, you want to get the answer as positive. When multiply two functions, the answer you want to get as positive. So it means that either this one and this one must be positive. Positive times positive is positive. Or what? This one negative and the second one is also negative. Negative times negative is also positive. So it means that if you want to get a positive answer, greater than or equal to 0 means positive. Okay, so if you want to get a positive answer, either both the graphs must be positive or both of that one must be negative. So here look at this one. In this space, in this one, let me draw with a yellow color. In this one, okay, let me draw with this one, a green color. Okay, so before this one, before this point is x, what is x value? -1. Okay, so before the -1, what about this g of x graph? Positive. What about f of x graph? Negative. So if you multiply these two graphs, positive and negative, it's going to be negative. We don't want that one, we want the positive answers, am I right? Okay, so but after this -1, here what is the x value? -1. Here the x value is -1. So after -1, negative times negative, positive, we want that one because we want positive answer. Okay, so negative times negative, positive, negative times negative, positive, negative times negative, positive, negative times up to here. At this point, what is the x value? 2. Okay, so now let me draw a line like this. Okay, so up to this x value, what is x value here? It is 2. What is x value here? -1. Okay, here the x value is -1. So after this 2, here the x value, what is the x value here? 2. So that means that here the x value is 2. After that 2, look at this one. This is positive, this is negative. So if you multiply positive and negative, it's negative. We don't want that one, we want positive. Okay, then positive, negative, negative, we don't want. Positive, negative, we don't want. Positive, negative, it is going to that side. Okay, positive, negative, we don't want that one. So it means that only between this -1 and this +2, minus times minus positive, minus times minus positive, like that. Okay, before that this one plus or minus negative, we don't want. After this 2 plus or minus, plus or minus, like that, we don't want that one. Okay, so it means that only between x value -1 and 2, when you multiply that f dash of x and g of x, you will get a positive answer. So what you are supposed to write the answer, it is greater than or equal to, so you have to write -1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2. So between minus x value -1 and 2, when you multiply f dash of x, when you multiply f dash of x and g of x, the answer is positive. Minus times minus positive between these two. Okay, before that plus minus negative, after that plus minus negative, we don't want that. Okay, so the answer is -1 less than x less than or equal to x less than or equal to positive 2. Okay, so that is question number 5.5. Now let's move to question number 6. Okay, now let's move to the next question, question number 6. And in the diagram below, q -3 comma 64 is a point on the graph p of x is equal to b raised to x. So there is a diagram given like this, and there is a graph given like this, and this is the point q -3 comma 64. One point on that graph is given. This is the y-axis and this one is the x-axis. Anything else? And this is our graph p of x, and here it is given that the equation of p of x is equal to b raised to x. Okay, now based on this one, you have to, and the point y, this is the y-axis, so this point is the y-intercept and they call it as point r. Okay, now let's start the 6.1. Question number 6.1. What is that question? Write down the coordinates of r. You have to find the coordinate of this point r. Okay, since this one is the y-intercept, at y-intercept what is the value of x? 0. Am I right? At y, this point is a y-intercept. Y-intercept, you know that the value of x is 0. Okay, so now let me write this p of x is the same as y function is equal to b raised to x. So at the point r, okay, so what is this is the y-intercept, what is the x value? 0. Okay, so at the point r, y is equal to b raised to 0, because that y-intercept x value is 0. Any number raised to 0 is what? 1. So what is the value of y? At r, x is equal to, we can write it like this, x is equal to 0. So y is equal to b raised to 0 is equal to 1. So it means that therefore coordinate of r is x value is 0 and y value is 1. Okay, so here the coordinate is 0, 1. X value 0 and y value 1. So that is question number 6.1. Now let's move to the next question, 6.2. What is question number 6.2? Determine the value of b. You have to find, question number 6.2, determine the value of b. You have to find the value of b. So this is our equation, y is equal to b raised to x. So let me write that equation. Y is equal to, p of x is a function, that's why I am writing it as y. Okay, y is equal to b raised to x. Do you know any point on that graph? Yeah, we know that in this graph q -364 is a point on that graph. So what we can substitute? We can substitute the x value as -3 and y value as 64. Okay, so let's substitute that values. Y is equal to, so it is 64 is equal to b raised to x. What is x? -3. Okay, so 64 is equal to b raised to -3, we can write 1 by b raised to positive 3. Am I right? A raised to minus m, exponential rule. That is 1 by a raised to positive m. Do you remember that one? Okay. So 64 is equal to 1 by b raised to 3. So to make my work easy, let me take this b raised to 3 to here and this 64 to here. Okay. I'm going to cross multiply like this. To this b raised to 3, I'm going to write it here on the numerator, and this 64 I'm going to write it here. I can write it like that. That's within the mathematics rule. Okay. So what is that one? B raised to 3 is equal to 1 divided by 64. Okay. So b raised to 3 is 1 by 64. So what about b? B is equal to cube root of 1 by 64. Check in your calculator what is b. Cube root of 64. Cube root of 1 is 1. Cube root of 64 is 4. 4 cube is 64. Okay. So what is the value of b? B is equal to 1 over 4. That is a question. Okay. So p of x is equal to b raised to x. Now we know that, okay, we got the value of p of x. What is the value of b? 1 over 4. So it is p of x is 1 over 4 raised to x. That is the equation of the graph. Okay. Okay. So anyway, that is question number 6.2. Now let's move to the next question, 6.4. Okay. I mean 6.3. Question number 6.3. What is that question? Write down the inverse of p in the form of p inverse of. So you have to write the inverse of p. Okay. So what is p of x now? P of x is equal to 1 over 4 the whole raised to x. We know that p of x is a function. So y is equal to function we can represent with y. 1 over 4 the whole raised to x. Now the question is, you have to write the inverse of this p of x. So to find the inverse, p inverse, okay, what you are supposed to do? When you want to find the inverse, you have to swap x and y. Y becomes x, x becomes y. Okay. So how can you, y is equal to, that is x is equal to 1 over 4 raised to x, x becomes y. Okay. So this is the actual inverse, p inverse, this is the equation, but you can't write, this is not in a standard form. You have to write it is y is equal to. So y is equal to, how can you write? Exponential rule. You have to know that one. This exponent is equal to the same thing we are writing, okay, in a standard form. That's all. Okay. So y is equal to log of this x. We are applying the logarithm. Okay. Log of this x to the base 1 over 4. Okay. This exponent is equal to log of this one number divided by the base 1 over 4. Okay. So actually what is y? That is our p inverse of x. Okay. So therefore p inverse of x. What is the equation? Log x to the base 1 over 4. And that's the answer. Okay. So that is question number 6.3. Now let's move to the next question, 6.4. Question number 6.4. Question number 6.4. What is that question? For which values of x? So there also you have to find the values of x. Okay. And what is the question? 0 less than log x to the base 1 over 4 is less than 1. So you have to find the values of x where log 0 less than log x to the base 1 over 4. Okay. So here do you know this log x to the base 1 over 4? Which graph is that one? Log x to the base 1 over, that is the, do you remember the previous question? We wrote p inverse of x as log x to the base 1 over 4. That means this one is the p inverse x graph. Okay. So let me, actually there is no need to draw that one because that question is not there. Sketch the graph. Okay. But for you to understand, I'm going to draw this p inverse x graph there. Okay. So you know, when you want to draw p inverse graph, you have to swap x and y values. Am I right? Okay. So here this point is 0, 1. So if I swap x and y, it is 1 comma 0. Okay, so here the new point is 1 comma 0. 1 comma 0. This is 1 comma 0. I swapped x and y, and there is another point minus 364. So I have to swap x and y. That means 64 comma minus 3. 64, x value is 64 and y value is minus 3. X value 64 is somewhere there. Okay, you can just assume that it is somewhere here, very far. Okay, we can't draw that one on the board. Okay, so assume that this is 64 minus, I'm going to swap it. Okay, so x value is 64 and y value is minus 3. So x is 64, y minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, somewhere here. Okay, let's assume that that point is x value is 64 and y value is minus 3. Can you see that I swap x and y? Okay, now let's try to draw that two lines, that 2 points, and this one is our P inverse of x graph. Okay, I try to draw the inverse graph. Okay, now that is not our question. Our question is not to draw the P inverse graph. Okay, now our question is you have to find the values of x where 0 less than log x to the base 1 over 4 less than 1. Okay, so here this one is a P inverse of x graph, so that is a function. Am I right? Okay, function we can represent as y also. Okay, so now look at how I am going to write this x. You have to find the values of x where 0 less than, this one is a function, P inverse of x as a function. Function we can represent with a y. Okay, y less than 1. You understand? Because log x to the base 1 over 4 is a function. So inverse function, but it's still a function. Okay, function we can represent with a y. Okay, now what is the meaning of the question? Now you have to find the values of x where the value of y is between 0 and 1. So don't forget that this y based on this blue graph, P inverse x graph. Okay, so now what I'm thinking here, when y is equal to 0, when y is equal to 0, what is the corresponding x value? When y is equal to 0, what is the corresponding x value? Look at this one. This is y0. Am I right? Okay, so we are talking based on this P inverse of x graph. Okay, so when y is 0, what is the x value? This 1. Am I right? When y is equal to, here y value is 0. When y is 0, what is the x value? Positive 1. So when y is equal to 0, x value is, what is the x value? X value is equal to, y is equal to 0, x is equal to 1. Let me write it like that. Okay, then when y is equal to 1, when y is equal to 1, what is the corresponding x value that you have to find? Look at this one. Where is y1? This is y1. Am I right? You have to find what is the corresponding x value here. Am I right? Okay, when y1, what is the corresponding x value? So how can you find? We know the equation of this P inverse of x graph. What is the equation of P inverse of x graph? Log x to the base 1 over 4. Okay, so let me write that equation. Y is equal to log x to the base 1 over 4. Okay, so I am trying to find what is the x value when y is equal to 1. Okay, so y is equal to 1, 1 is equal to log x to the base 1 over 4. Okay, so how can you write this as an exponent form? This x, it implies that I am going to write this one as an exponent form. This x is equal to this 1 over 4 raised to this number. Okay, 1 over 4 raised to 1 means 1 over 4. Okay, so what is the x value? 1 over 4. It means that when the value of y is 1, what is the corresponding x value? 1 over 4. You understand? Okay, so listen once more. this is our question. When x is what are the values of x when this p inverse is between 0 and 1. P inverse is same as y, is a function. So you have to find the values of x where y is between 0 and 1. So what I did is I checked what is the value of x when y is equal to 0. When y is equal to 0, I can see that this is p inverse of x graph, the blue one. Okay, when y is 0, x value is 1. Okay, when y is 0, x value is 1. Then now I am checking what is the value of x when y is equal to 1. When y is equal to 1, what is the x value? So here y is 1 is this one, y value is 1. So what is the corresponding x value here at this point? How can I find? When y, I know the equation of this graph. So in that equation, I substitute the value of y as 1. From there, I got the value of x as 1 over 4. Okay. So between, therefore what? Therefore, the value of x between 0 and 1, y value 0 and 1. What are the values of x? The values of x is between 1 by 4 and this 1. Am I right? Okay. So when y is 0, it is 1. And when y is 1, it is 1 over 4. So it means that between this 1 over 4 and 1, the value of x. Okay. So 1 over 4 less than x less than 1. And that's the answer. Okay. So guys, that's end of September 2021 Limpopo province question paper. Okay, I hope you understand clearly. Thank you for watching. Okay, keep on watching, keep on practicing. Okay, see you on the next lesson. Thank you. Bye.